Hi, this is Vic, and on this video I'm going to walk you through how to create a private property table. And I'm going to do so with an example, starting with a bill of materials that we're working on. Now you'll note that I have various properties here: component type, MPN, description, quantity, and so on. These were all public properties, meaning that I chose these properties from among all the properties that are available to anyone with an OpenBOM account. But let's say I want to create a property that only I or those I share it with can use. So the first thing you'll do is you'll try to create that property. So let's go ahead, and I have here include public properties, because as I type in the name of the property I'd like to have, I'd like to know if indeed that property already exists or not. So it's always wise to leave that checked. Now, let me go ahead. I'm going to enter approved suppliers. Now you'll notice that in the process of me typing in approved suppliers, OpenBOM was providing me, if not suggestions, close matches. But in fact, there were no properties found that exactly matched approved suppliers. So the next step I will do is, you see this little check mark here. I'm going to unclick it and click it. What it's basically telling me is that if I'm going to create approved suppliers, I have the choice to make it public, right? In which case, all I need to do now is choose the property type. Now, if I choose to make it private, I will unclick that. And now notice what happens, right? I have the approved suppliers. I'm going to go ahead and make that text. But watch what we have here. Select a private property table, right? So what OpenBOM is now asking you in this dialog is, okay, you want to create approved suppliers, but you'll need to manage that or keep that in what is called a private property table, and the topic of this video. And you can do a drop down here and see what other private property tables exist. Now, I already have one here that I was just testing earlier. Let's just ignore that for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now transition and take you to where private property tables are created. And let me show you how to go ahead and create it. And then we'll return to this screen. So going to the OpenBOM dashboard, we're going to look at the right hand side, and we're going to go all the way down to the admin center, or the administration center, and we're going to go to the property table section. We're going to go ahead and click that, okay? And here we're going to see all the tables that we have. We have the public tables. If you happen to click that, you're going to see all the properties all the public properties that exist. Now, you're not going to be able to delete these. You can go ahead and add some stuff to it. But you won't be able to delete it, and you can do a little bit of searches. But that's not what I'd like to talk to you about. I'd like to go back to the table to show you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a private property table. So this green button here on the lower right hand side, you click that, and now you can go ahead and name it. So what we're going to do is we're going to name it. Let's call this, Vic table for demo, and we're going to it's created by me, of course, so let's just go ahead and create that. There we go. We have a private property table. Now, one thing I can do is, let's say I'd like to share this table with colleagues, right? Or at least one other colleague. Let's say somebody in production. So if I share this table, I can go ahead and enter their name here. This is production, OpenBOM.com. Of course, they can view and they can add stuff to it. So I'm going to go ahead and share it, and we are done. So this table is now shared with one more colleague. So I can go ahead and add a property here, just like I did in the prior dialog. Okay, so I can directly enter something into a property table, into a private property table, rather. But let's just go back to the example that I was showing you earlier. So when we go back to the original dialog where I was creating a property, you'll see now that this is going to be private. here's the approved supplier, which is the private property I'd like to create, and I'd like to make it a text. Let me go ahead and add that, and I'm going to now choose the VIC table for the demo, the one I just created. Once I add that, you'll see that approved supplier is now created. And if I go back to the property table, and I'm just going to go ahead and refresh that, you'll see that it will indeed appear in the private property table, and there it is, approved supplier. And it gives me the property name and the property type. So that's how you create property tables. That's how you manage property tables. Okay, that's all there is to it. Let us know what you think, and if you have any questions and you'd like to learn more, visit www.openbom.com. Thank you.